start 13th. Stefan Snaft to his outside in the 14th starting position from Newborough, Indiana, in the number 14. Landon Beckwith from Roanoke, Illinois, in the number 9 starts 15th. Matt Fair in the 63 from O'Fallon, Missouri, starts 16th. And rounding out the field in the 17th and final starting position, it's Cameron Jacobs in the 55J from Chatham, Illinois. Now, this championship for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-weigh micros was really kind of close to decide whether or not it could be done tonight. I don't think that the result of the championship is going to change. Parker Bupp came into the night with a 240-point advantage. I believe he pretty much had to not show up for Nolan Bartley to have a chance at the championship. Both these drivers having a good night so far, I believe, has already locked up the championship for Parker Bupp in his 51B, starting in third. Of course, Nolan Bartley starting in second, right in front of him. But regardless, these points battles much closer than they were last year here at Coles County Speedway. Had a lot of runaway championships. A lot of these really came down to this final race, which was great to see. But it looks like the one-to-go signal will be coming to the Cleveland Grain Systems non-weigh micro field for their 20-lap feature tonight here at Coles County Speedway. It's the final points feature of 2025 at the Speedway. Matt Veach, Nolan Bartley, the front row as they'll approach the start cone over at turn number 4. Veach is going to get it sideways, and the green flag is out. Great jump there for Nolan Bartley. Veach just got a little bit too sideways off the jump, and that will allow the first 2 rows on the outside lane to go by Matt Veach. Daniel Robinson is going to follow Nolan Bartley through to second for now. Side by side of the line, I believe Veach was ahead. Timing and scoring coming through. Yes, Matt Veach was just barely ahead of Daniel Robinson at the line. And Veach will be able to continue that line gain. Looks like he hit something down in turn 4. The front tires came off the ground as they're 3 wide in the further back in the pack behind them. Robinson gets a little bit too high in turns 3 and 4. Once again, it's going to stack his car up as Nolan Bartley gets too high and is going to go for a half spin in turn 2. The caution will come out. I think that was more of a safety factor. That caution was coming out. No, Cameron Romack did come to a stop in turn 2. I was wondering if he was going to get that car refired, or if at least that car was going to keep rolling, but it doesn't look like that was the case. Couldn't quite tell if Romack got the outside wall or not. He was right up against it all the way through turns 1 and 2. Have 3 laps complete in the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. And it looks like, unfortunately, Cameron Romack is done. Took the wheel off the race car. And it looks like he's attempting to climb out of the 4R. So a tough way for Cameron Romack's night to come to an end here at Coles County Speedway. So with that, the one-to-go signal will be coming back for the rest of the Cleveland Grain Systems non-weigh micro field. Nolan Bartley will lead us back to green. Daniel Robinson behind him in second. Matt Veach third. Darren Stark fourth. Aiden Line gain the top 5. Nolan Bartley passing underneath the Lakeland College scoreboard, looking for the restart cone over in turn 4. Nolan Bartley's back on the gas, and the green flag is back in the air. Robinson got a good jump there, but he didn't close in it at all on the back bumper of Nolan Bartley, but he will do so through turns 1 and 2. Veach gets too high up on the cold cush. Took that front right tire into the air a little bit. Daniel Robinson down on the inside of Nolan Bartley, trying to take that lead away as they go back off into turn 1. He had a good opportunity to slide up in front of Bartley there, but decided not to take it. The front 2 both down to the bottom of the racetrack. Line gain going to pick off the 55S of Darren Stark for a third as Bartley spins again over in turn 1. The caution will come out. I think he just got a little bit too high once again going into the middle of turns 1 and 2. Looks super rough up there right up on the outside wall. And unfortunately for Nolan Bartley, ends up with that race car going around. So that puts Daniel Robinson out on the point with 5 laps complete, 15 laps to go for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-weight micro feature. Caution lights out once again for Daniel Robinson, now with control of the field. Aiden Line gain in second. Third, Darren Stark, who looks like fourth will be Matt Veach, and fifth is going to be the 51B and Noah Bartley. Or excuse me, Parker Bupp. It will be Daniel Robinson going to the high side at turns 3 and 4, diving back at the restart cone. Green flag back in the air. He'll have a good jump by the time he rolls his way through turns 1 and 2. Line gain goes back to the bottom in 1 and 2 as well. Now Robinson goes to the bottom in 3 and 4. Going to block that move from line gain. Darren Stark going to roll up in front of Matt Veach. Veach going to try to fight back to his inside for the third position. The 2 black cars. Veach the one with the white roll cage. Bupp still holding on to his top 5 spot for now. Lean gain going to start getting closer. Multiple cars involved over in turn 1. Didn't see what started that, but Parker Bupp definitely pointed in the wrong direction. Looks like Noah Bartley also involved. Danny Hayes may have gotten a piece of it. Looks like the other car that came to a stop was the number 9 of Landon Beckwith. Track crew is going to send the field through the infield for 1 lap to allow for the cleanup in turn 1. Front right tire down for the 51B of Parker Bupp. Unfortunate end to the night for him. But Daniel Robinson going to lead us back to green once again for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-weight micro feature. 7 laps complete, 13 to go. Aiden Line gain in second. Third will be Darren Stark. Fourth, Matt Veach. Race control working on the order further back. Looks like Seth Buell might be lining up 5th. Brendan Healy going to be 6th. Bryce Farr 7th. Looks like 8th will be Hunter Walker. 9th will go to Stefan Snaff, and it looks like rounding out the top 10, still working on that order. But it does look like it will go to the 63 of Matt Fair. So it does look like instead it's going to be Landon Beckwith going in front into 10th. Then it will be Danny Hayes, Noah Bartley, and then Matt Fair, the lineup behind them. Caution lights out around the racetrack once again for Daniel Robinson with 13 laps to go on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-weight micro feature. He'll go early this time. Green flag back in the air. Good jump for him. Lane gain going to have to settle in line for now. A couple of cars going back to the high side in turns 1 and 2. That's once again Stark and Veach. They'll go back down to the bottom at 3 and 4 as Danny Hayes spins again in turn 2. He's going to try to get it pointed back in the right direction, and he will be able to do so before the field gets to him. Same restart order we just had with Danny Hayes at the tail. Still 13 laps to go, only 7 complete for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Daniel Robinson goes to the high side again in turns 3 and 4 for this restart attempt. Diving back through the restart cone, green flag back in the air, great jump there for Lane Gang, staying right there with him. As they go through turns 1 and 2, a little bit of contact on the back bumper as here comes Darren Stark powering around the outside. Going to try to find something with the momentum on the high side, off turn 4, side by side with Line Gang for second. The outside still just isn't there. 3 wide for the lead, and Stark will take it away going into turns 3 and 4. Incredible run there. As they come off turn 4, they're still 3 wide for the lead. Line Gain on the bottom, Robinson in the middle, and it will be the 55S of Darren Stark up high. Now Line Gain back to the point as they come back through, looking for 10 to go this time. Robinson spins in turn 4. The caution will have to come out. And we will re-rack it back to 11 laps to go. Robinson up the hill just that little bit too high again. It looked like through turn 3 this time. Car may have just gotten a little bit out of Robinson will get pointed back in the right direction and tag back on in at the tail end of the field. In the meantime, it looks like Darren Stark will lead us back to green on this next restart. And second will be Aiden Leangang. Third will be Matt Veach. Fourth will be Brendan Healy, it looks like. And rounding out the top 5, looks like it's going to be Seth Buell once again. We'll be coming back to 1 to green this time. Caution lights out once again around the racetrack. Still 11 laps to go on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Darren Stark, Aiden Leangang in second. See what Leangang can do on this restart. Green flag's back in the air, and Darren Stark going to roll them off it at turn 1. He goes to the high side once again. Leangang stays there right down on the bottom of the racetrack. Veach goes to the high side again in turns 3 and 4, back in third. That's going to allow Brendan Healy to try to take that third spot away off turn 4. Wasn't able to stay alongside. Passed by the flag stand up in front still. Darren Stark trying everything he can to keep that number 18 of Aiden Leangang behind him. Leangang all over the back bumper as they roll back off into turns 1 and 2. Caution's going to come out once again. Noah Bartley has spun off turn 4. May have had a little bit of help from Landon Beckwith, who looks like he has some damage. And he pulled into the infield as well. Only one additional lap was run before the caution came back out. We are exactly at the halfway point. 10 laps complete, 10 to go. And Nolan Bartley ordered to the infield. Do believe that Nolan Bartley has been involved in 2 cautions, so that means his race is over. Black flag will be issued this time to 7F and Nolan Bartley as he pulls his car into the infield. Should be coming back to the 1 to go signal in just a moment. Caution lights out around the racetrack for once again Darren Stark and Aiden Leangang. Matt Veach, the top 3. Going past by the restart cone once again. 10 laps to go for the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Great jump there for Leangang. He's going to be clear to the lead in the middle of the corner, but doesn't quite have the run off the high side that Darren Stark had. And Darren Stark will come back around and lead lap number 11 of the feature. Matt Veach has Brendan Healy all over his inside as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. And Healy settles back in line for 4th for now. Bryce Fair's slowly working his way forward as well. He finds himself inside the top 5 for the first time this race. Still out in front, it's Darren Stark, completes lap number 13, 7 laps to go for the 55S. Aiden Langane isn't going to allow him to go away at all. Still nose to tail for the lead as they work their way off turn 4. 3/10 the gap at the line. According to car lengths, it's a lot shorter than that. About half a car length of separation between the front two. Both keeping it right down there on the bottom of the racetrack. Langane waiting for a slip-up from Darren Stark. The gap down to 2/10 that time at the line. Matt Veach still rolling the high side through turns 1 and 2. Veach doesn't have the pace, about a 10th slower right now. He'll switch to the bottom in 3 and 4 with 4 laps to go. Still, it's Darren Stark on the point, trying to keep it right along that berm on the inside lane. Aiden Langane still trying everything he can to get around the 55S. Trouble in turn 4. Caution will come out. Danny Hayes, I believe that will end his night as well with 4 laps to go on the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Darren Starr going to lead us back to green on yet another restart in the Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro feature. Aiden Langane in second, Matt Veach third, Brendan Healy fourth, Bryce Fair fifth, Stephen Snaff sixth, seventh will be Daniel Robinson, it looks like. Eighth, Seth Buell, ninth, Hunter Walker, 10th, Matt Fair. Caution lights out once again around the racetrack as Darren Starr comes back by the restart cone. Green flag's back in the air. It's going to be a good jump for him this time. Best restart we've seen from Darren Stark. Pulls a little bit of a further advantage than he had before on Aiden Langane. But Matt Veach is there as well, rolling that high side. Going to try to find something with the momentum on the high side, but nothing for Matt Veach up on the high side just yet. Bryce Fair going to work around Brendan Healy on the outside lane. Still nose to tail for the front two. As they work their way back through turns 3 and 4, Darren Stark starting to back up Aiden Langane just a little bit. That's almost going to get him side by side with Matt Veach as Veach hits a rut down there on the entry to 1. Actually helped his car turn a little better. Will come to the white flag this time. They're going to be almost 3 wide for the lead off turn 4. Langane down on the bottom, battling out with Darren Stark. Advantage is going to go to Matt Veach on the high side. Veach is going to try to pull away from Aiden Langane as they work through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Checkered flags waving. The win will go to Langane. What a battle in that final restart. Aiden Langane ends up coming out on top. Matt Veach second. A very good run for Matt Veach. Definitely got to be proud of that result for Matt Veach. Looks like he may have had it there. Just has to settle for a second place finish. It is number 57V. Darren Stark third. Brendan Healy fourth. Bryce Fair fifth. Stephen Snaff sixth. Daniel Robinson seventh. Seth Buell eighth. Hunter Walker ninth. Danny Hayes 10th. Matt Fair 11th. Those are the cars who finished. Nolan Bartley in 12th. Landon Beckwith 13th. Parker Butt 14th. Cameron Romack 15th. And both Danny Vecito and Cameron Jacobs did not take a lap. So Aiden Langane into Coles County Speedway victory lane for the second time tonight. Kevin, down to you.
All right, folks, he's out of his car. Let's give a big round of applause to Aiden Langane, your Cleveland Grain non-wing micro feature winner here at Coles County Speedway, his second feature win of the night. All right, good to see you back here again. You guys put on a heck of a show that race between you and Stark, and then Matt Veach got involved there at the very last.
Yeah, it was a really good race. Stark he ran really good, and it was really tough to pass him, but I stayed patient and was able to get by him there at the end.
Were you surprised when Veach came up alongside you there coming out of 4?
He kind of surprised me, but I just tried to keep my cool and hit my last corner right and just come out on top.
Yeah, you did, because you looked like a rocket when you came out of that corner, so I assume you put your foot through the floorboard.
Yep, I wasn't getting second. I'd like to thank all my sponsors, Country Financial, Custom Turf, Valley Construction, Bull Speed and Performance, Smith Tie, Lineman Engines, just everybody that helps this thing go in a circle. Oh, and thanks to my dad, too.
All right. Once again, everybody, congratulations to Aiden Lane Gang, your Cleveland Grain non-wing micro feature winner here at Coles County Speedway, his second feature win. And what a race.
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Definitely one for the record books right there. A fantastic season here at Coles County Speedway for the points racing-wise has concluded, and it does look like Parker Bump will be the champion in this Cleveland Grain Systems non-wing micro class. Of course, that will end our racing action tonight here at Coles County Speedway. Thank you for everybody here at the racetrack who stuck it in into the early hours of Sunday morning, especially all those fans who's tuning in at home as well. We hope everybody had a great time enjoying the racing action tonight. Don't forget about the WFO Micro Series Championships and the Halloween Clash next week on October 17th and 18th. And we hope to see you back at the racetrack next week. For now, so long and good night.